Ghana is changing the rule on its mining industry. New reforms now before Parliament could fundamentally alter how foreign mining companies operate in the country and how much the state earns from gold. So, if you are an investor or a policy watcher or simply interested in where Africa's resource economy is heading, this is a story you cannot ignore. Ghana produces more than 4 million ounces of gold every year. Mining contributes roughly 9% of the national GDP and over 40% of export earnings. For decades, gold has been one of the pillars of the Ghanaian economy. But today, the government argued that the current system leaves too much values on the table, especially as global gold prices surge. With gold prices now approaching more than $3,000 per ounce, Accra believes that the time has come to reset the balance between the state and the mining companies. The proposed reforms target 3 core areas, which are 1. Royalties, 2. Stability agreements, and 3. Development agreements. So let's break them down one by one. Under Ghana's current mining law, gold producers pay off between 3 and 4% on gross revenue, depending on the gold price. On top of that, companies pay 35% corporate income tax, a 3% growth and sustainability levy, and the state retains a 10% free carried interest in every mining license. The new proposal would dramatically raise royalty rates. The sliding scale system would start at 9% and rise as high as 12% if gold prices climb further. So this is where industry alarm bells start ringing. Royalties are paid on revenue, not profit. So even when costs are high, companies still pay the full rate. The Ghana Chamber of Mines warns that these changes could turn Ghana into a global fiscal outlier, making some projects unviable before a single dollar or profit is made. The second major reform targets stability agreements. These agreements have historically protected mining companies from sudden changes in taxes and regulations up to 15 years. They offer predictability, something lenders and investors rely on when approving billion-dollar projects. Under the new framework, stability agreement will be capped at just 5 years, with key protection removed entirely. Existing stability agreements will not be renewed. Major operators like Newmont, AngloGold Ashanti, and Goldfield are now heading towards a cliff edge, with agreements expiring between 2025 and 2027. For an industry built on long-term planning, this is a seismic shift. Without long-term stability guarantees, financing becomes more expensive, risk premiums rise, and expansion decisions are delayed. The third reform goes even further. Development agreements required for mining projects above roughly $500 million are set to be abolished entirely. These deals allow the government and investors to negotiate tailored frameworks covering infrastructure, employment, and community development. The government argues that these arrangements were often abused, with promised projects failing to materialize. Critics, however, says scrapping them remove a critical tool for attracting large-scale investment and structuring complex projects.
I have to note that we've really embarked on a national stakeholder engagements across the country. Some significant changes that we are pursuing is 1, to drastically reduce the number of years that prospecting licenses are held for from perpetuity to a defined minimal period, reducing the upper limit for number of years for the grant of a mining lease from 30 years to an agreed period, obviously very reduced years. 3, abolishing development agreements and enforcing the signing of community development agreements, imposing a rate of an agreed percentage of gross revenue from the sale of minerals to fund community development projects to help fast-track the development of mining communities. How many times have we talked about how mining communities are impoverished? These transformational changes will see the accelerated development of our mining communities. We are also introducing a 3-tier mineral right regime by including a medium-scale mining. As we speak, we have only small-scale and large-scale. We envision the new law to have a medium-scale regime. We are also working to reduce the upper limit for stability agreements from the current 15 years to allow for capital recovery for huge investments only, or abolishing it altogether. Under the leadership of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, and with extensive stakeholder engagements that include traditional authorities, civil society groups, academia, government is committed to ensure that the review of the Act corrects the imbalances of the past and secure a brighter future for the benefit of all Ghanaians.
Ghana's reforms are part of a broader continental shift. Across Africa, countries like Mali, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, and Tanzania are rewriting mining laws to capture more value from their natural resources. This trend is often described as resource nationalism and is gaining momentum on the African continent. So here's what to watch closely. Parliamentary debate begins in March this year. Mines with expiring agreements must reassess their exposure, and new projects will face very different economics from the past. The risk profile of Ghana's mining sector is changing quickly. The government believes Ghana, after nearly 2 decades of managing large-scale mining, no longer need to offer generous long-term guarantees. Ghana's mining reforms signals a new era, not just for gold, but for how African states manage their natural resources. For investors, the message is clear. The rules are changing. The windows for adjusting strategy is closing. So stay informed, stay prepared, and watch Ghana very closely. If you found this analysis useful, subscribe for more deep dives like this. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Sheriff Haruna, and this is AS1 Report. Have a joyful life and see you in the next one. Accra.